Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is combo number 2. I'm Tom Flores.
I'm Travis Baker.
And today we'll be talking about...
Nicholas Winding Refn confronts the male gaze and other fetishes and masturbatory experiences.
The Neon Demon. And also, too, this will be the first time, combo number 2, we're going to have a special guest. We want to try something out new. Think it'd be a fun idea. So our first guest ever today is...
Denise Cabral!
Yeah,
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for coming and joining us in on the fun. What did you think of the movie?
It was one of the most beautiful and empowering and most uncomfortable things I have ever witnessed in my entire life. I have so many mixed thoughts on this movie because it was beautiful and it was so empowering. All the power is left to the females in this movie. But at the same time...
Is it like how they take the power? What power and what the power actually is?
Well, what the power actually is, I mean, that's amazing.
Well, it's not like, by power, like, it's not what people think.
It.
It's not like, strength or an army or money or like a position of power. It's just beauty. That's power.
But at the same time, that was a little weird too, because beauty is power. But then again, beauty is power.
Okay.
I don't know, that sounds a little bit weird and confusing and all that, but oh my god. This was definitely a gore fest. And a lot of gore fests are great. I mean, I'm studying to be a nurse. I'm used to gore. But damn!
But not rapey gore? Like rapey feel gore and
there was a lot of rape. Yeah, there was necrophilia.
There wasn't a lot of necrophilia, just a lot of gore.
There was one distinct scene of necrophilia.
One distinct scene.
Which was actually that was some great acting.
That really was. That was
on Gina Malone's part.
But at the same time, as, being inside of a lab before, I kind of looked at that and went, that's not what you're supposed to do with a cadaver. That's really not.
I don't think you're supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to do a lot of things with a cadaver.
There's a lot of things they do to that cadaver that you're not supposed to do.
Yeah. That was very uncomfortable. But at the same time, it was beautiful to watch.
Like, you mean by the cinematography, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the lighting, there's a lot of that.
Definitely he's
blue and pink.
Well, you saw the real elements were blue and red. Like, those were the real elements. That was kind of cool. Like, the blue was when she was still, like,
transforming,
good, and then the red went straight to the neon demon, or how the main character Jessie kind of lost who she was and got consumed by this industry, which is the modeling industry. Because this movie is not only basically it's a horror thriller, but it also too is a different take on showing the darker side of what can happen if a young female becomes completely consumed, wrapped up in the modeling industry. Because I think I'm going to say unfortunately, because right now it's just beauty is a very skinny girl, thin girl, not even skinny, like thin, which that's not. I mean, look at the Greeks who we base a lot of our government and society off of. The Greeks and Romans, it was thick women. So that's what's interesting about it. But what that one character, the fashion designer, what he said was interesting in a sense. Not that he said that beauty is currency, beauty is everything. It's natural beauty is everything, in a sense of like you can't manufacture beauty. You can't force it, because there's one character. There's basically the character Jessie, played by Ella Fanning, runs into 3 women who are older than her, who are obsessed with beauty. One is a makeup artist, Ruby, and the other 2 are models, Sarah and Gigi. And Gigi, her character, she was the one who's had so much work done to look like this perfect, almost like China doll.
Yeah.
Like that's what she's done, and that's what the fashion designer was saying, and that's what I liked about it, because it's like, okay, I don't agree with the whole beauty is everything, but I agree, natural beauty will obviously out-trump manufactured beauty. As a fashion designer, all he does see is manufactured beauty of various degrees, and so when he finally sees natural beauty, he sees it, and it is a diamond amongst mirrors, amongst glass.
Yeah. I think I like this movie.
Yeah, you still don't know how you feel about it, huh?
I don't.
Yes.
I will say about it. I will say about this. Like, this is an art film in the extreme, but I could follow it along.
Yes.
which is fine. There are some like movies that
That are so,
art films that I'm like, what the hell's going on? Do I need to watch it again? And it's even worse when you watch it in a film class, because then you feel kind of stupid.
Oh, yeah.
If some people are like, "Oh, the film was amazing," and you hated it, and because you didn't understand what was going on, you thought it was really pretentious, so you feel like the dumb kid in the class.
Did this one make? It was
No, this one I understood
This
what was
one-
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dialogue was more of like, it kind of had that feeling of what we said about the lobster. Not that it was like that dry, but it was a straight to the point. What they were saying was going to happen.
Which is fine.
So
when you...
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it made sense with this artsy film, because it was so visual and artsy and beautiful that having that dialogue of like, we're telling you, we're just saying like straightforward to the point stuff, nothing with weight or metaphor or mix.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I think that's what helped it along.
Yeah, with the film that is focused on visual storytelling, it was great that the dialogue was to the point. It got enough across. It didn't deviate into like too much conversation category. But it also didn't sound like stupid and underwritten. It didn't feel like film student writing.
No.
Like a lot of times, I watch a student film, and it looks great. But it seems like it was all an excuse to show off great visuals, but clearly either the director does not know how to actually write people talking, or you just didn't know how to fit it in that scene.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Now this is I looked up later, Wendy Refn hired like 2 other screenwriters to help him out because he felt like he had an inability to write women. As apparently with his other films...
that says a lot about the director already, knowing his limitations and being not prideful enough to ask for help.
Like with his other films,
That says a lot. Wow.
Yeah, with his other films, they always had like male protagonists.
It's been always male leads.
Yeah, so this is the first time, and he can't, this is his idea. This was a story he wanted to tell, but as for writing the actual script, he needed some, one of them was like a female playwright.
Ooh,
And I'm sure the other one was as well. You can correct us on that, but and she wrote like plays that were centered about women and women's issues.
That's smart though to do that though.
Mm-hmm.
But he did it from a playwright, not
Yeah.
screenwriter or playwright. I like that it's from a playwright.
Yeah,
because he did have a lot of setting of the stage in a sense, really, in this movie, because it was all definitely focused on the lighting, but he set it in a way.
most likely he wrote the outline. As well as descriptions of what kind of scenes he wanted to have.
Oh yeah, he was probably, and he sat with them while they were typing it.
Yeah.
But they helped him restructure the wording he wanted in his head to fit it, to make it more realistic. Because this was more, there were male characters, but they did take the backdrop amongst the females because it was more focused on the females.
How many male characters were there? There was just the...
I counted
the 2 photographers and then Keanu Reeves' character. Oh, and the fashion director.
wait. So like 4?
Yeah, 4.
And
5 if you include Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey.
Okay, well,
Mikey.
Mikey.
Mikey's important.
Mikey.
Mikey's important.
She has an unwanted guess. Mikey. The door. Mikey. A light. That was awesome. But yeah, the best part, since we're talking about the male characters, Keanu Reeves was awesome. That was like, that. Even though like there was no point of revealing that character in that way for like, dun dun dun, you couldn't see him until he opened the door.
It's like, it's Keanu Reeves.
That was so great because it's like, oh my god, this movie just got better because Keanu Reeves is in this, and he's a shady landlord in a crappy motel who's a killer and a rapist. And it's like, awesome, that's great. Let's have more of Keanu Reeves just like this.
Yeah,
it was great.
It's implied that he's a killer or a rapist. I'm still wondering about that scene in which she hears
a death, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The death and or rape in the other room, which I don't know, just something about that. I was like, is that in her head?
That
Or am
made
I
it
reading
worse
too it?
because then the audience is it's left to the audience interpretation of what's going on.
And who's in that room is the 13-year-old girl. Because 214.
Yeah, because 214 has got to be seen.
Yeah, so they set that up.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, wait, is that the 13-year-old girl? Is it not? Is that happening? Because that other sequence she had where it was like a knife down her throat, it didn't happen, and she acted like it did. So what happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it did because she made the call saying, "I think she's killing." So I think that the one where her listening to the 13-year-old getting murdered and or raped was for sure true. It was just the knife part wasn't.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that I felt like the director had a bunch of like fever dreams or something. Just
I can see that.
Like, he had a bunch
Yeah.
of, like I said, a lot driven by visuals, but there was a lot of scenes where I felt like this didn't organically come when just coming up with a story on paper. He wanted to have this kind of a scene to, like, and was trying to figure out a way to put it in. The scene where she sees that
Yeah, it was
tetragram
like
or whatever.
triangle thing.
She saw that a lot. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
I didn't get it at the beginning until the runway show. I'm like, oh, that's because that's what you could be seeing in front of you down a runway model, like a runway a walk. But before that, I'm like, did she like kind of envision it before she actually saw it? And now she finally saw it face to face. It's like, oh, that's what it was, but it still held something more. Because at the beginning, I'm like, what was that supposed to do?
Or the strobe lighting effects. There's some really
yeah.
interesting strobing
That
in
was
this
a
movie.
different way of strobing, though. Like, it wasn't definitely not the white light. It was red, but blurry.
Yeah.
So that's why it was a different. It was kind of like, oh, wow.
And it was a little hard to watch after a while. Like, that scene went on for some time, and we were like,
that went on longer than it went longer than the human eyes can withstand.
Mm-hmm.
But it still was interesting because it's like that was a different way of doing strobe lights.
Yeah.
So it made me want to watch more. But I'm just like,
So I'm gonna warn you, if you have epilepsy,
Or
maybe
any sort
if you
don't
get
see this. It's not.
don't see this in theaters, definitely.
Yeah, and if it's that much of a, I guess you worry that much that you could have that, I wouldn't that. There's that one part that definitely don't see. I mean, I guess skip it, but it was cool. So that wait till home. Like, don't see it in theater because at theaters it was a lot to take.
Yeah.
But
a lot of lens flares. I was
yeah.
thinking, like, wow, people give J.J. Abrams crap for his lens flares. There's a lot of lens flares in this movie. Tastefully, though, maybe it's because J.J. Abrams is very action oriented, so we're used to like his camera moving around and noticing.
But it made sense here because all the girls are models who always have to deal with that in a sense because they're always under light in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they always have cameras flashing at them.
Yeah, I like the one part where her first like photo shoot with the very great photographer. The poor man's Jackie.
He was my
Jackie
favorite.
Earle.
He was my favorite.
But it was like so like you didn't know what was going on because you
Yeah.
find out her character is 16, which actually Ella Fanning was 16, turned 17 through the production. So it's 16-year-old girl.
That's why you don't
he's
see
like-
her boobs
And
in this movie.
he's looking at her. He's like, "This is a clothes set. Take off your
Yeah.
clothes. Are you okay with that? Yeah. All right, take them all off." And then he walks away, and it goes. No, first the light goes dark, and you're like,
And it's just like, please don't rape her. Please don't rape her. Please don't rape her.
What kind of
And then he
movie is
brings
this?
down a case, opens it, puts his hands in it, walks over to her, and then goes behind her, puts her hair back, and she's like, and then it's just gold paint, and you're like, oh, he's a professional, thank God. And afterwards you love him because even though he's kind of, that character is a little like, he's a little blunt, he might rub a lot of people wrong, he is a straight professional. He sees what he has in mind, he's not eccentric, he's just to the point professional, which I respect of that character, but that one point was a little like, okay, good.
Yeah, and you just gold paint. You get gold paint on your boobs and your neck.
But I was suspecting that Elle Fanning, I didn't know she's only 18 now. I was suspecting that Elle Fanning must have been underage when they shot this because
The way
this kind of movie, like,
shouldn't be afraid of showing nudity.
yes, like this kind of movie, it's like normally we'd be seeing her boobs or her butts, but we're not. Why? Why is it only filming her from the chest up? And especially like later on, we see full on nudity and with other characters.
Oh yeah.
That scene made me
shower of
laugh.
blood.
That scene made me laugh because it felt so cliche in comparison to everything else I
Oh
saw.
yeah.
And I guess I was just so jaded by the crazy visuals that once I saw that, and like the two girls are in the shower and they're showering in blood and moving around in a way that felt seductive. Like I thought, did they even make out? I thought they were gonna make out in the
No,
shower.
I don't know.
I think that was the thing. It was supposed to be like
It was a tease.
They're gonna like. I think that was the point. Was like just to because they barely even touched each other.
No,
they respected
yeah.
the bubble.
They were just kind of.
They're just
there.
going with the, They're just
I thought they were like. I thought Ruby had so much power over them that she kind of was forcing them to.
I think
be
Ruby
seductive.
is their leader though.
Yeah, because
she
Ruby
got
is
to watch it.
definitely the power holder. She was was watching it. She
Mhm.
was enjoying it. She was in the blood bathtub.
But also to think about because she's the makeup artist. She's what
Yeah.
helps make them even more beautiful She makes the models more beautiful than before they get in for the shot. So she has that power.
And beauty is power, and power is
Yeah.
beauty.
So she holds a position of power that we wouldn't expect, but it was shown this way, which does make sense.
Yeah, because she does control their beauty, which means, in a sense, she has control of their power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only part I guess the only problem, and this is after like 2 days of thinking about it because it was just so hard, so much to digest. I'm glad we waited 2 days to record this. We talked about like Ella Fanning's character Jessie going into the dark side, and it's shown by that cool scene of like all of a sudden that
It was a runway shot that showed it, yeah.
diamond turning red. The only way it showed that was like when she was with her boyfriend, and then she was with her other fashion friend / the model designer,
Fashion designer, yeah.
And she was just acting kind of snippy, like, and her boyfriend's like, "You want to be one of them?" But then that was it. That was it. It was only there to like, I guess, get the boyfriend out of the picture. It didn't pay off like. It didn't have like a full thing of she becoming those other two dislikable models.
Well, because she's not like them because, like she said, they
wanna
want
be
her.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way
be her.
she knew it, and she just got,
She got cocky.
and it could show though, like in that industry and overall, that's how a relationship can end that quickly and over the smallest, dumbest thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was supposed to show that makes sense because it's just like, yeah, that's it, and either accept it. And you'll be with me, like just stand by me, almost like a purse. Like that's how.
Yeah.
Or you can just leave, and there will be another guy because I'm that beautiful. It's not that hard to get a guy, especially if I have there are males turning their heads and gawking over me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that was it. But I get what you mean, like because he did just like that.
Because then
but
after
it was to show that because then because he was the one protecting her. Because after that, that's when we show Keanu Reeves' character trying to get her and kill her and rape her.
Yeah,
so I think that's what to show that he was her last. He was what was his name? Was it David? Dean. Dean was like her last protection in this big crazy world.
And then
and I'm not saying like she didn't rely on a man to protect him, but like because he was just there for her regardless, and then that's why everything went bad, and that's what happened.
And then she just, I felt like a development like that, there probably would normally be
maybe a little
more development. Maybe I'm thinking too traditional on this, because then it just went straight to her at the house, which was like the confrontation with Ruby, who clearly throughout the entire movie definitely wanted to get into her pants.
Yeah,
that was so.
And then she's like, "No, but I'll stay here at the house anyway." And then shortly later, the necrophile scene, and then everyone wanting to kill Jessie.
To consume her beauty.
Well, yeah, because if you notice...
Consumer beauty.
Well, if you notice, Ruby's eyes completely changed once Jessie pushed her off of her, or pushed Ruby off of her, and then, like, pushed her off of the bed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ruby's eyes totally changed, and you were like, shit's gonna go down.
Because Ruby at the first just wanted her beauty as, like, a sexual thing, nothing bad, but then she's like, alright, well, now I'm gonna go back to how I really want your beauty.
Yeah, she just wanted to suck everything out of her and
awesome.
Leave her for dead.
Yeah, because there isn't vampires in this, but it has that vampire feel, and it works really well in this modeling background.
It does.
Yeah. Because
it's like, I want your beauty, so I'm going to consume it.
Did you say booty or beauty?
I said beauty.
I thought I just said
no.
Okay, all right. But yeah, so anyway, what we're saying is this is a...
I think Ruby also wanted her booty too.
Ruby did want her booty.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby wanted her beauty.
This is definitely a movie worth seeing. It just isn't everyone's cup of tea. A lot of people I can see not liking this. This is like I like it or I don't like it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Tom, because you've seen Drive, which is the same director.
Yes.
How do you, I guess, compare? I'm not saying which one you like better. I'm just saying, how do you compare? Is it a very, because I have not seen Drive.
It is in the way the dialogue, because there's not that much dialogue in Drive in the sense from the main character, but what's said is like to the point.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has interesting camera angles. The lighting doesn't, I feel, really show up until either the night scenes in Drive and later on the movie, where you get those flares, but like the interesting lighting. This one, though, I think you can say, like, I didn't see Only God Forgives, but from the trailer, you could see like a little evolution arc of how he's using his lighting. Like at the first drive, it was only used for at night, which makes sense, and like certain morning shots, and in the evening. But it was more just the interesting camera angles. There's one point in the elevator, which was cool with light. That was awesome because it's like they went to a different room, but they're still in the elevator. And then in Only God Forgives, because it's in Bangkok, so it's I think that night scene with like lights, but it's dangerous, because like I know The Hangover's not like that movie, but The Hangover 2 was set in Bangkok, so it's like it's not a safe place, Bangkok, the underworld and everything. So it took that lighting with the underworld, so that's it. And this one definitely went it because it's a modeling. It's the setting is the modeling industry, so you need all that fancy lighting and like interesting strobe lights and like intense bright blues, intense light. So there was an evolution arc of that. But definitely, though, that it came from Drive to this, it's set to like the main character not saying too much, just what's needed.
All right, I've never seen any of Winding Refn's films.
All his films are great. I mean, I didn't see Only God Forgives, but this Neon Demon just makes me want to watch all his movies now. Like, sure, I've seen Drive, I've seen this. He's a great director. He's definitely has a lot of Kubrick influence, as we said. He has a lot of Stanley Kubrick influence, and I think he is our generation Stanley Kubrick because of what he's doing, and that's why I say that, like we all say, he needs to do a sci-fi film because he could definitely pull it off, especially if he said that this film, The Neon Demon, was leading into the sci-fi territory.
Yeah, at first, going into this, I thought it was going to be kind of an android movie.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That's what I thought it was going to turn into, and then I think that would have been a really interesting twist, but
I think the twist that they
that they consume her, that was enough for me. That was beautiful.
The last 10 minutes was great.
That was amazing. I love that movie.
Oh, and
I love this movie.
And since we were talking about Drive, great soundtrack. This movie had a phenomenal
Cliff Martinez did the score, and damn, it was killer.
Yeah, like it definitely like. The soundtrack was just like, it was great. It fit the mood
kept going
from the beginning to the end, especially the end credits one was phenomenal. But the first beginning, when it's just like almost like this interesting crystal like surface with lighting and the actors' names are coming up, who's in it, and he has his NWR like a bottle of perfume.
Yeah, it's like his label, his watermark.
It was a cool opening credits.
Yeah,
and that's why. The soundtrack
very
is phenomenal.
electronic,
and that's why I think for a sci-fi film, holy crap, it'd be interesting.
Ooh,
and I think that he then should do the android thing because he's dwells so deep with what this movie dwells so deep on. Because you think about it, a male director, yes, he had female writers, but a male director still tackling on beauty with females and what that means and what women will do. It's a hard subject to hit because every woman is different. Yet there's a similar, I guess I want to say, line between every female that they have, though, with beauty. Like, it's different, but they can be the same at the same time. Especially because, if you think about it, the only actress who was not skinny was Cassandra Hendricks. Yes, she is a big, very voluptuous woman, but she was the only one who wasn't thin.
She was only in one scene, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it was more, like, so I think him tackling on, like, a turning test sci-fi movie or an android movie, like Denise said, would really be awesome to see. And I look forward to his other movies because this was, it kept me engaged and not, like, I wasn't bored. I didn't look at my, like, watching, like, are we done yet? It kept me engaged the entire time, and I just started dancing at the end.
Oh, yeah, we could not keep
him out of his
seat. We could not. He kept going, and we were like, all right, Tom, let's go.
So definitely, like I said, it's worth seeing. It's just not everyone's going to like it. So whoever you see it with, think about the person because because there are a lot of trigger warnings. If that person has dealt with an uncomfortable situation, 3 people walked out of the theater. Like, and one guy was like, "I'm done." Like, no way. So 3 people walked out, and I know it's just 3 people, but there was only a total of like barely 10 people in the theater overall.
Everyone else was going to see Finding Dory again or Independence Day regurgitation.
So this is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I think it is very worth seeing for everyone because of what it tackled, how it accomplished it, because I think it accomplished what it was trying to tackle. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think so. It worked for me.
And it's worth the movie ticket price.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically across the board,
we liked
I think it's a great movie.
Go see it.
We liked it. I'm still thinking about it.
Now here's the question, because since this is an original work, would you think it has a chance? Because this is what Travis and I ask each other every time towards the end. I know we haven't done it for all episodes, but for most of them, we don't ask it for the sequels or the reboots in a sense because it's different. But since this is original, do you think this could have a chance of becoming a classic when we are our parents' age or grandparents' age? Because if you think about it, there hasn't really been a movie like this. Yes, there was Valley of the Dolls, which you said because Cliff Martinez, that's what he kind of based the music off of, a combination of Valley of the Dolls and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I definitely can see that. I can hear it too. Do you think, though, this has a chance of becoming a classic once we are in our 60s, like by that time, looking back on it?
I don't know. I think when people... Because I think a lot of this movie, the reputation is dependent on its director, on just how well... I feel like that's the big drive. It's like, oh, this is the new Nicholas Winding Refn film. He's the guy who did Drive, and he did Only God Forgives, which a lot of people did not like. It was very split down the middle, that second film. So I think because of that, I think it won't, because when you think of this director, you're going to think of Drive.
Then
because that's his most popular.
That's his most popular, notable film. That will be a classic. That will be regarded as a classic, and I think this is just sort of an after.
This could be more of like a cult classic.
Yes,
I'm thinking that this would be a cult classic just because people see it and go, "Oh, an art film," and then later on they go, "Oh my God, this is amazing!"
And all that stuff happened.
You know, all this stuff happened.
I shouldn't have taken my girlfriend or someone from work.
Yeah, Travis.
Granted, full disclosure. Oh yeah, first of all, full disclosure, Denise and I are dating. But also full disclosure, we don't see too many art films. So I know there are some people I don't know. I know this is a movie that's split down the middle with people. Like you look at
split.
It's like 48% Rotten Tomatoes. I read a brief review from Entertainment Weekly. They gave it a D+.
Really?
Oh.
So some people did not like this movie.
You love it or hate it?
You either really like it or you really don't like it.
Okay, all right.
For us,
I'm very mixed.
I agree though with
people who do not see this kind of movies often. It worked.
Oh no, yeah. Like for me though, like obviously, like I've seen enough movies, but also too, I kind of have a wicked sense of humor. So I was like, this is great. This is awesome when it involves like American Psycho. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. So that's why I really enjoyed this movie. Like, but I get what Denise's saying. It's going to be a cult classic. This is probably that's what I was thinking right when I asked the question. Like, I think this is not classic, but this will be a cult classic. Not obviously in the way that Rocky Horror's done.
Maybe more like
Heathers.
More like Heathers. Because
I would argue.
I think Heathers.
I would argue it's a cult classic, but only amongst like fans of this director. Like, it's a cult classic in that you buy this film along with the collection of his other films
because of how the director's work has been accepted in the public. All
right. I don't think this movie. Just looking at like, I guess I don't know the lack of word about it. I don't know if this movie will ever sort of be able to outshine. I think its direct
two works.
Yeah.
So it's more of like it'll be a cult classic in a different sense of just because of the director's name and because of how a lot of his work all of his work has been received throughout.
Yeah, like like I don't know, like so like take another director like Steven Spielberg. Like he's directed many movies that can stand well on its own beyond him, like Indiana Jones, E.T., Close Encounters, Jaws. But many of his other films, not like some of like I don't know, probably. Would you really watch like I don't know, Bridge of Spies if you didn't? For a reason other than Spielberg. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're into history, but just as a film, like I want to watch it
because Spielberg and Tom Hanks are in it. Like,
yes,
I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so this is only gonna. Yeah. Okay, I get that. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, that wraps us up for this episode. Once again, Denise, thank you for joining us and becoming our very first special guest. We hope to have you back again soon.
Thank you so much.
I'm Tom Flores. Oh, you're most welcome.
I see all of the movies with you guys anyway.
I know, and you're going to be more. You're going to be seeing a lot more. A lot. Oh, yeah.
Yay!
So once again, I'm Tom Flores.
I'm Travis Baker.
I'm Denise Cabral.
And this was Combo number 2. Thank you once again for joining us. We will catch you on the next time.
Bye.
Bye.